So today's video is going to be a review and a mini tutorial slash demo using the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. And let me tell you, this little bitch has been everywhere lately. I'm trying to like wrap my brain around how the release of a palette can turn into this massive, like, I don't even know what the word for it would be, but if there's one thing we do in the beauty community really well, it's hype shit up. And apparently we have now gone from just hyping things up that are great, now we're hyping things up that are bad, or at least what enough people perceive to be bad. I was not gonna get this palette. I had no intention of getting it whatsoever, but tons of you guys asked me to pick it up and told me that you wanted to see my thoughts on it. But in my mind, all I heard was, hey, pay $45 for this thing that's gonna suck and you're just never gonna use again. I popped into Ulta the other day, it was there, threw it in the basket, and here we are. I can tell you right now that I have not used every single shadow in this palette. Initially, I wanted to wait to film this video when I had played with all of them, and or I was gonna use this video to put a couple of looks in it so I could give you a actually full-blown, well-rounded review of it. I just can't because I did film this video yesterday and the footage didn't turn out. That's why we're back here against the wall because I'm so tired of having this problem. Long story short, this is just gonna be a one look kind of opinion, but my instincts are usually pretty strong on a palette as a whole once I've kind of gotten there and messed with it. The day that I got it, I took it out of the packaging, I took the little brush that was in it right here, and I immediately, without any primer or any extra makeup on, just started rubbing the colors on my eyes. I pretty much picked up every single one. And I'll tell you right here, right now, I did not have pretty much any of the problems that I have been hearing that this palette has. Now, before we go any further, let's get one thing straight, and that is that everyone is going to have different things that they're drawn to when it comes to makeup, just like everyone has different things that they're drawn to when it comes to, I don't know, everything else in life. Like, I might like mushrooms and you might like chicken nuggets. I might like Deftones, you might like Justin Bieber. Like, who's to say which is the correct one? We just all have our own personal preferences. The number one things that I have heard about this palette before I got it was that it was chalky. The kickback was crazy. I think I saw pictures floating around Instagram where it looked like the palette had basically just like, it was like a crime scene, an eyeshadow crime scene. It like looked like it had just exploded everywhere. One of the complaints was that the colors do not blend together at all. Another complaint was that when the colors do blend together, they just turn gray. And I mean, that's a lot of problems for one little palette to have. I have read posts about it on Facebook. I'm in some professional makeup artist Facebook groups and a lot of people are talking about it. I've seen tons of posts about it on Instagram, but I think I'll only watch one or two reviews about it because I really wanted to go in this just really up in my own head and giving my own true blue first impressions. You know how like sometimes there's movies that like are better or worse depending on how much you know about them going into it? Does that make sense? So all this to say, I do not know what everyone is on about. I will say this is a very different eyeshadow formula than I've really worked with before, and it's definitely a different formula for Anastasia. This is a really soft formula that was pressed in a way that I don't think was the best way for the actual formula of the eyeshadows, but at the same time, I am just not, and this is like the way it was the day I got it, and pretty much with any eyeshadow that I get the first time I use it, I do not dig my brush into eyeshadows. A, it's really hard to control your eyeshadow application if you put too much in going out like right out the gate. And B, like I have to get familiar with the formulation. So I do understand when people, when they first got it before any of this stuff came out, would have just gone in there willy-nilly, but me personally, I just don't do that anyway. So having used this palette, I've used it 3 times now, 2 times including this look that I had to recreate. This look that I had to recreate because of filming issues. And I don't really feel like I've had nearly these kickback issues. Now there are little dents made in the shadows, which is a little premature for how little I've used it, but it's nothing like what I was expecting going into it. I tell you all the things I like about this palette, and I'll tell you if there are things that I don't like. After I get done talking about it, there'll be a little bit of a tutorial at the end of the video with a demo of the eyeshadows that I use to create this eye look. It's just the eye look because that's all we're focusing on today. So the first thing that I like about this palette that I actually thought I was not gonna like about this palette is the shade range. When I saw pictures of this when it was first coming out, I immediately was like, barf. Do not want, do not, no, don't like anything about these colors. Now that I have it in front of me and I've kind of played with them, I feel very, very different about it. Number one, it's really funny to me that in the beauty community, and I have a problem with doing this too, where I can be like, some new shit, I'm tired of liquid lipstick and highlighters, and then somebody comes out with something new and then we all get mad anyway, you know what I'm saying? So what I thought was really cool now as I've gotten this in my hands is the color selection is very interesting. It's not one of those all warm, all cool palettes. You have pops of color, you have some cool shades, you have some warm shades, and you have mostly mattes. There is exactly 2, maybe I guess 3 shimmer or anything along those lines type of shades. And I will tell you guys right now, this color right here, which is called Electric, it's one I have on my lid right here. It's one of my favorite eyeshadows I've ever seen in my life. I wish she would come out with an entire collection of this type of, like, it looks neon. It probably doesn't look that way on camera, but in person, this looks neon green. So the same way I love Sugar Pills Lumi because it's that bright, vivid, iridescent, like, formula of color and shadow, that's how I feel about this one. It's freaking awesome. Number 2, and I said this in a video that I posted recently, I believe it was my eyeshadow palette video, nobody, damn near nobody puts out matte green eyeshadow, and I don't know why, because I think it's a really missed opportunity, and I don't see a lot of green smoky eyes as a whole. I do have a green smoky eye tutorial if you want to see it. I'll link it up here somewhere. I feel like I'm talking really fast. I'm sorry. I don't want this video to be super long. I'm gonna try. There's several shades in here that I don't have anything like. There are shades in here that I have things very similar to. One shade in here that I don't have anything like is this color right here called Roxy. I get the idea that it might be similar to some of the shades that were in the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I love the color All Star. It's a gorgeous burgundy shade. I do have shades similar to it, but it's very, very beautiful. I don't have anything like Untamed or Access or Electric or Cube, which is the only shadow in this palette so far that I really have a problem with. I heard somewhere, I feel like I watched Norvina's like whole video about this palette where she said Cube was supposed to be like an iridescent pink purple shift, something really unique and different. I don't have that. I don't get that. I tried to use it on my brow bone. It acts like a brow bone highlight, but I can't see, even in person with the mirror super close to my face, in the monitor, anything, it just looks like a white shade, which is fine, but this is the only color so far, and I feel like I've played with enough of them, that I have issues with. One other thing I like about this palette a lot, and one of my subscribers was talking to me on Snapchat and the way she worded this was perfect. Asked me if I felt like the palette was helping me kind of unlock some creativity, and I was like, ah, nail meat forehead, that's exactly what it is, because I would never normally create a look like this, and I can look at the palette and I can see a few other looks that I would love to actually put together with it, and I think that that is something that palettes can kind of miss the mark on. It feels like they put these colors together with looks already in mind for us. They're a lot of the same kind of tones and shades, and this one is very different in that way. I feel like they really gave you the colors and the creativity is in your hands. Cons of this shadow, this palette is, number 1, I hate this packaging. This velvet, it's like, see, it's already filthy. My Modern Renaissance palette is the exact same way. My other major con to this would be is that I just don't think it's for everybody. And not just from the aspect of the color selection. There's a lot of colors in here. I feel like the average woman, and I don't mean to say you are average, but I mean the average consumer who's like going to work at a 9 to 5 and needs something nice and fresh and natural and pretty to get through the day. This is not going to give you that type of a look. Also, there is a bit of a learning curve with it. I would just suggest when you're using it, and this is the only way I use it at all, take your brush and when you go to put color on it, literally tap it. That is all you need to do to get shadow. Look how much that picked up just then. Tap off the excess and then go in with your eyeshadow. That is the easiest way to use it. That is the way that I use it, and I've had no problems whatsoever. So as a whole, I understand it's not going to be for everyone, but for me, this is a really cool, really fun product, and I am not going to stick my nose up at a brand doing something a little bit different. Alright guys, let's quickly get into the demo of this video. This is definitely not a tutorial, so we are moving fast. I'm starting off with the orange yellow shade in here, and as you can see, I'm just blending this into the outer corner of the eye and moving up slowly and inwards. I am doing a cut crease, so I really need to saturate that crease to give something to cut into. You can see from the application of this color, I am moving in very small amounts. I'm not using a whole lot on my brush at any one time. I'm building up as I go. You do not want to go to ham sandwich with any of these colors at all, and I'll show you what happens if you do in a second. After I put that one on, I went in with this color right here called Destiny. Know that from here on out, there will be a patchy moment that's coming, and I will show it to you as it arrives. But really, I'm just taking this color on the outer corner with the dense brush, and like right now, I can see where there's being a little bit of like extra blending coming into it. I didn't have this problem the first time that I used this shadow. I think it's because I didn't set my eyelid the way that I normally do. But I also didn't notice this while I was doing the look. It could be because the look did not warrant a super nice blown out soft well blended crease area, because like I said, I'm doing a cut crease in this day. The patchy moment is coming up soon. I'm just trying to talk my way through it until it gets here. But once again, you really want to move in small amounts with these shadows and don't use too much. And also, like I said before, I would definitely set that eyelid with another shadow, like a bone color or something, to give this a little bit of a softer, more mattified texture to blend into, instead of a tacky cream texture, like, you know, the texture of your concealer or primer that you are using normally. So when I went in with my second coat, if you will, of the shadow to kind of build up the intensity, this is where my patchy situation began, and we're going to zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's right here. I don't know if it's as noticeable to you guys as it is to me, and moving forward you will see that that really never gets fixed. It doesn't get more intense in that area. It doesn't blend out any better throughout the course of the tutorial. I just really did not notice it while I was doing the look. I don't know if it's because I can't see that part of my eye, but that's kind of what happened. Then I pat that color that I was working with on that crease just in the outer corner with a flat brush just to kind of get some out there. And I went through and I blended it again, and you can still kind of tell right here there is a little small, more blank spot right there on my lid. After I did that, I went in with the color Untamed, which is this really nice deep forest green color, and I'm just working this all over the outer corner of the eye with a small precision brush. I didn't have any problems with this shade. I really was being kind of sloppy out here, like I said, because this is not a super mess or clean look until you move forward with the cut crease part. I pat in this color Rowdy on the outer corner to give a little depth and dimension to that part, and then as always, I am going to blend it forward. You can still see there on that other eye where I have my crease issue, but because I was doing this exact thing that I'm doing right now, which is cutting my crease with concealer, I just didn't notice it, or maybe I didn't care. So I do have to say, retracting my original statement, these shadows can be difficult to work with, but obviously I made it work, and I'm sure you can too. Then I'm going in with Electric, which is the absolute Beyonce of this palette as far as I'm concerned. I started off by patting this on top of the concealer with a dry brush, and then I wet my brush and went on top of it with it as well. Obviously that went on to to my other eye, and I kind of did my usual smoking of the lash line technique from here on out. Like I said, this is not a tutorial. I had no other problems moving forward with the colors not blending into each other, like not even when I did my lash line or anything else. I'm adding a lot of color down here. I'm adding darks on the outer corner. I'm taking colors inwards and outwards. Oh, okay, I'm dancing too. And then I put a eyeliner in the waterline and smoked that out with the darkest brown shade, and I still had no problems, and I made sure to wrap the Electric shade around the eye as well. And that is the finished product of this look. I really just, like I said, wanted to demo. This is not a tutorial. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you thumbs up if you enjoy it, and also make sure you subscribe if you are new around here. I would love to have you. Check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, and come hang out with me on Snapchat. I also have a P.O. box. It is down below in the description bar. You guys have been asking me to get one for a while, so now I have one, so there that is. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one.